Your reasons for listening to the show, well, those are your own. But just keep in mind that the views, information, or opinions expressed on the Tuddle Daily Podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of our sponsors. Yeah, it's called free speech, people. Nobody's forcing you to listen.
Get ready for your daily dose of Tuddle.
The all-time greatest intern/producer we've ever had, of course, Tuddle. Tuddle in Florida.
From the Hobo Fish Camp, it's the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
No wonder nobody likes you, Tuddle. Everything's a goddamn debate.
Welcome to another edition of the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Make sure you check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tuddle. When you go there, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button, because when you hit that bell button, you're going to be alerted to any time I go live or upload any new content. I know that I've been slacking lately with the live streams, but you got to understand, I am busy as hell. Dad, Pops ended up dying last week, and it's been very, very difficult. I don't want you guys to think, oh, this is hard work, but it's also hard to be able to get on and concentrate, not fumble your words, find things to talk about, angles to be able to take on a story. And it's been very, very difficult. But I do plan on getting back to doing the YouTube live streams. That's youtube.com/Tuddle. I may or may not try to do one tonight. So I'm back in Orlando today. And I got to tell you, I tweeted about this. But the parking garage at Orlando Regional Medical Center is the worst. The worst. And I don't know if it's because poorly designed. I don't know if it's because it's a bunch of old people. They're all looking for spots. Like, I automatically just go to the 6th level now because it's a waste of time. You're not going to be able to find them. And I don't know what they could do, but I actually do think it is the older people. They all want to get the best spot. And I'm like, bitch, there's an elevator right there. Just go all the way up to the 6th floor. Bring that motherfucker down. Hit the crosswalk, or they got a pedestrian bridge that goes right over to the hospital. But the reason I am back at Orlando Regional Medical Center, I've talked about this. When it rains, it pours. I talked about this a couple of weeks. Mom has cancer again, and they don't know if it had spread or not. By spread, it's because it's in her neck, jaw, right where the bottom part of your jaw meets with your top of your skull. Right there. But they wanted to make sure they did this thing called a PET scan, and they make you drink this nasty ass, chalky substance. Then they make you wait for an hour, and then they put you in this little tube, and what that chalk does, any of the cancer in your body, if it's spread anywhere else, it lights up. It glows. And they're able to find it. Because I remember when my mom had cancer last time, when she had the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, They just were having the PET scans, and it was pretty amazing. I can only imagine what they're able to see now with all the updated technology. So Mom is currently in the hospital right now, waiting on the results. So, man, I'm hoping for the best, guys. I really don't think that I could take another kick in the balls, because I've had a lot of stuff happen to me that I haven't even talked about as of late. You know, it's one thing after another. And I don't want you to think I'm complaining, because I actually had a good day yesterday. And I'll let you know by the end of the show, because she should be out by the time. But I actually had a really, really good day yesterday. My good friend, Addie, I've talked about her a little bit. She is the organic vegetable farmer that I talked about on Bubba's show. She's actually starting her own business, and she actually, you can actually follow her business Instagram page. Go to Lavender Moon Ice Cream. Follow her on Instagram. It's a really, really good page. She is going to be doing an organic ice cream shop, and she's starting off with organic popsicles and ice cream that they're going to be selling coming up real, real soon. And that's why I'm telling you to follow her Instagram account. Lavender Moon Ice Cream. So I went over there yesterday, and she ended up cooking for me, which was absolutely amazing. And you would think that you're probably like, oh, Tuddle, you're turning into a hipster hippie or whatever. No, the food was really, really good because she does not eat meat. She's all natural, all organic, all that good stuff. And it was zucchini spaghetti. So what she basically did was skin the zucchini, and then those little carrot things, the shavers you use for carrots, you just cut it in strips there, and then it was like some of these beans that were really, really good on top of it. And I got to tell you, man, I if I'm being honest, I was like, I wonder how this is going to taste. Is it going to be bland? No, it was actually really, really good. And I got to tell you, kind of cleaned me out this morning in a good way. In a good way. I don't want you to think it made me sick. And then we walked around downtown DeLand. And then when we came back, she knows that I've been going through a lot of, bullshit in my life. And I talked about this when I was on Bubba's show about the sound therapy, getting my chakras in line. And I know a lot of you guys are laughing. I know you're probably laughing. But guess what? I mean, am I a true believer in it? Not really. But guess what? I believe in that just as much as I believe in God, Christianity, Islam, whatever it may be. And the sound therapy, she had me lay down on the couch, palms up, and then she did this like sage burn, put the smoke all over my body. And then, and by the way, I am clothed. I don't want any of you guys out there getting like dirty thoughts or anything. No, I was completely clothed, but it was relaxing. So she did the sage smoke. And then she pulled out the tuning forks. And I know a lot of you guys are going to think this is ridiculous, but you also got to realize that I work in radio. I work in an audio format. So, of course, I'm going to like audio. I love all the ASMR videos. I've talked about one of my favorite ASMR videos that when I have a hard time sleeping is of a Irish soccer announcer. Football. I have to say soccer because I got a bunch of American listeners and supporters. But of him just making a ham sandwich, just his delivery, it puts me to sleep every single night. So she finds the right tuning fork. She goes all over my body with it, not touching me. She goes to the ear, right ear, left ear, holds it there, kind of like, getting out the bad energy. And then she goes to the third eye. Now, I really didn't know what the third eye is. The third eye is, I guess, right in your forehead there. And I gotta tell you, the tuning fork, it felt like it was on my forehead. I could feel it kind of like drilling into my brain in a good way. And I just felt so light, carefree after this whole thing. It was really great. And I know that it's do I believe in it 100%? No, I do not. But also at the same time, guess what? It helped me. It helped me because I've been having some horrible, depressing, shitty days. And I don't give a damn if it worked or not, or if it's a placebo. By placebo, like, how they always give you a pill that's just like a water or sugar pill. And I feel better automatically. Yeah, that's how I could explain it. And I really don't care if you guys want to laugh at me. I don't care if you guys want to make fun of me. It made me feel better, and that's all I needed. I needed just a little bit of relief to get from the everyday bullshit that I've been having to put up with the last 2 weeks. I'm always giving how you can contact me, how you can reach out. One of the bad things about doing podcasts is not being able to take live phone calls. Eventually, hopefully, maybe one day, once I get all of this drama out of my life, all this death and destruction and despair, just when things are looking bad, I'm going to start being able to take phone calls. I am going to build a studio, a real working studio that I'll be able to take phone calls. But right now, I want to interact with you guys. I give it out all the time. There's a couple of ways you can get a hold of me. You can email me, Tuddle@gmail.com. That's TUDDLE@gmail.com. Or you can leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044. Once again, that is 407-270-3044. I'm going to start doing this during the show every day. I'm going to give you guys a question that you guys can call in and give me your opinion on something, or you can email me. But I want to know what people outside of Florida think of Florida. Well, I mean, do you guys just think, man, it's the wild, wild west down there? It is a jungle. It is just where all the serial killers, all the criminals go to hide is the state of Florida. I would love to hear your opinions, because one of the things that they've always said is like, if you got bad breath, you really can't smell your own breath. If you got BO, you can smell if you stink a little bit. But what I'm trying to say, though, is like when you are in something for a while, like, for example, these hoarders, the hoarders that just leave stuff, they'll find dead animals, dead pets, stuff like that in the house. And the people that own the house are like, I don't smell anything. Guess what? Because you are used to it. We as humans, we adapt. We get used to, like, if your life sucks and every day is just a kick in the balls, then yes, you're going to get used to it. That's why the brain is so great. That's the only thing that the brain is good for. For the most part, your brain is your enemy. Your brain is always giving you self-doubt. It's trying to do that flight or fight thing. That's why it gives you doubt. But it also helps you. It helps protect you from traumatic experiences. It helps you just from, you could be in a bad situation and you wouldn't know any better. Just like I said, you can't smell if you stink. You can't smell if your car stinks, your bad breath, whatever it may be. But the other people can. That's why I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about Florida? 407-270-3044. And the reason I'm bringing that up is all these stories that are coming out with Florida. The Florida man thing is real. I know that it seems like it's a big, big joke to everybody around the country. But this guy claims stand your ground against an iguana. Now, iguanas are an invasive species here in the state of Florida. Like, they're not natural here. Just like the Burmese pythons down in the Everglades. Yeah, that was the other thing. I got to see if I can find that audio. Ron DeSantis kicked off the great annual python hunt. I guess the state of Florida is like giving away cash and prizes for the people that catch the most pythons and the longest python. It's almost like a bass fishing tournament now. But this guy tried to use the stand your ground defense, which is really, really big here in the state of Florida. It was used in the Trayvon Martin case. And this guy tried to use it and say that he was standing his ground against an iguana.
A Florida man will not be able to use the stand your ground defense after killing an iguana.
I don't know who their voiceover guy is or who that is. I mean, it almost does not even sound real, the way this guy sounds. Have you ever gotten those, like, calls where it's not even anybody, actually, a real person talking to you? It's a computer. It's like an artificial intelligence program and I always try to throw them off. Like, they'll get me in the first couple of seconds, and then I automatically realize, oh, this is one of those AI computers trying to sell me something or whatever. So, but this guy, his voice is so smooth, so perfect. The compression is out on point, big time. Like, this audio is perfect. I wish I could show you what the audio levels, like, the audio levels are straight as a whistle. It's thick and fat. Oh, man. Like, I'm almost making audio levels sound like a sexual thing, but this guy, man, I got to find out who the fuck this is.
PJ Nalaja Patterson said he beat the iguana to death after it attacked him and hoped to use the stand your ground defense to get an animal cruelty charge dropped.
So just to let you guys know, it is not illegal to kill an iguana down in South Florida. Like I said, they're an invasive species, and as long as you kill it humanely, you'll see bums in South Florida, could be Miami, West Palm, the Treasure Coast, any of that area, and you will see just bums that have got campfires set up that they got an iguana on a stick. And good for them. I mean, I would love to know what an iguana tastes like. Hell, if any of you guys have ever eaten iguana, I'd love to hear from you. Once again, I know that I've already given you the question, but 407-270-3044. Or you can email me, Tuddle@gmail.com, because I would love to know what iguana tastes like. But they are an invasive species. They're not even supposed to be here in Florida. Because, like, even in South Florida, it rarely gets below freezing in South Florida. Like, rarely. I can't even tell you the last time that has happened. But iguanas, even like in the 40s, 50s, I think even below 60, you'll see iguanas falling out of trees because they're so cold-blooded. They can't take the cold weather at all, and they will just go into like a hibernation state, and they'll fall right out of the trees. But the reason that this guy is having a hard time is because he actually tortured the iguana, and he's trying to use stand your ground. This is why people think we're a bunch of slack-jaw hillbillies, even though Florida is the flattest place in the United States, down here in the state of Florida.
He had to get 22 staples because of the bite, and his attorney said the iguana was the first to engage with physical violence.
You ever notice how some animals just look high? Like, in my opinion, I think goats always look high. Like they're high after smoking the biggest, fattest joint or doing a dab hit. But iguanas, they're usually just chill, with those little spiky things that come off the top of their head. It's almost like they have dreads, like they're a Rastafarian, and they're pretty chill. That's why I don't think this iguana was starting trouble, but the iguana damn sure finished that shit. I bet that guy will think twice about the next time screwing around and trying to poke a iguana right in the chest, because the iguana made this dude his bitch. 22 stitches from an iguana? Dude, don't be picking on an iguana.
Prosecutors say surveillance video shows Patterson brutally attacked the iguana for half an hour, and the animal bit him in self-defense. Patterson faces up to 5 years in prison if convicted of animal cruelty. Jeff Petroulis for CBSMiami.com.
Look, we can all admit that this guy's a complete scumbag. He's an asshole. I mean, I love animals. I'm not going to torture an animal. But I got to tell you, if I was hungry, yes, I would kill an iguana. I would kill an iguana all day and eat it. I would like to know how you actually prepare an iguana. Like, what is the best way to cook an iguana? Because, do you skin it? I don't even know what the digestive system, how do you even gut an iguana? And what is the best part to eat out of an iguana? Everybody's like, the tail. No, the tail, see, just like any other lizard, an iguana can actually grow its tail back. So I don't know, if you want a body part that can just grow back so easily, but I got to tell you, I'm thinking about this. If an iguana just lost his tail and you captured him, and you wait for that tail to finally get long enough, that would be almost like eating veal, right? Because it's fresh tissue. It's like eating a baby calf, just like eating an iguana's tail. Man, I know a lot of you guys probably think I'm high smoking out in the parking lot of ORMC, but I'm not. This is just some of the weird shit that I've been thinking about since I can't sleep at night anymore. Gonna take a quick break. Be back in a few seconds. You are listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
Great news, folks. You now have the chance to see the face in front of that sexy voice. Right you are, sir. The Tuddle Daily Podcast streams Monday to Friday on YouTube. Anything can happen at the Hobo Fish Camp. Okay, sir. That's enough. Okay, so go to youtube.com/Tuddle. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you're notified anytime Tuddle goes live. Good job, sir. Questions? Comments? Concerns? Compliments? Or do you just want to tell Tuddle to fuck off? In any event, contact Tuddle. Tuddle@gmail.com. It's, Tuddle with 2 Ds, dumbass.
Welcome back to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. I know that I mentioned it earlier, but I'm trying to, help out my friend, Addie. She's got her new business page on Instagram. She's starting an organic ice cream shop. It's going to be almost like a food truck, but she's starting out slowly, and she's going to be doing some big things in the DeLand area coming up real soon. And I told you about the food that she cooked for me. It was absolutely amazing. She knows what she's talking about when it comes to organic foods and vegetables. So follow her at Lavender Moon Ice Cream on Instagram. I just want to see her do well. It's got to be tough, related to what I was talking about earlier, coming from up north, being a woman, all by yourself, wanting to start a business in the state of Florida. It's got to be a little bit of a culture shock, just like it would be a culture shock if I went up to the New York area, because she is from Long Island. So, back to what I was talking about earlier with the iguanas. I ended up finding this audio. It's from a National Geographic special that they did, but they actually have a 5-star chef, I think up in the Northeast somewhere, prepare iguana. Because Puerto Rico, you would think Puerto Rico would be a place that would have iguanas, but no, it's an invasive species there as well, too. And they're actually tearing up all the agriculture, all the vegetables, the produce, stuff like that down there. And they're having a real problem with it. And they go out there on hunts and stuff, and they're picking them off with like little 22 rifles and stuff. And I think that would be fun as hell. You know, I don't want you to think like I'm being cruel, but, you know, a lot of people are asking, oh, how did they get there? Well, number one, a lot of the Burmese pythons, in my opinion, that are down in the Everglades came from Hurricane Andrew back in 1992 because there were a lot of zoos and stuff down there, a lot of pet stores, and I don't think people actually remember how bad Hurricane Andrew was. You know, everybody wants to talk about Hurricane Katrina, but no, I think Hurricane Andrew was by far one of the worst storms that has ever hit the United States of America. I mean, there's no debating that. Because back then, Hurricane Andrew was so strong that it actually ripped off the radar, the wind speed, all the measuring instruments at the National Hurricane Center down there in Miami, Florida. So yeah, Hurricane Andrew was pretty bad, but a lot of those Burmese pythons, iguanas, stuff like that, all got out of these zoos, all got out of these pet shops because that hurricane absolutely devastated South Florida. But I was talking about, how do you cook iguanas? So I found this audio of a chef talking about what iguana meat is like and how he's going to prepare it.
My name is Roberto Hernandez. I'm the executive chef at Mio Restaurant in Washington, D.C., and today we're cooking iguanas. It smelled like fish. It felt like chicken in their hands, but it looked like red meat. So it's a completely different experience for me as a chef in the kitchen.
The way that the chef just described this, why is iguana meat not being used more? They basically hit all the good meats that we all like. Smells like fish, has the consistency of chicken, and is a red meat. Like, seriously, people, are we missing out on something here? You know, all the beef prices that are going up right now because we supposedly got hacked again. Why all of a sudden are we getting hacked and they're hitting all of our businesses and stuff? Does anybody else find it a little suspicious? Like, it just seems like the board members in the back room were like, hey, so since Corona is almost over with, how can we make up for the shitty-ass year that we had last year? Oh, yes, we can say that we were hacked. We were hacked. There's nothing we could do about it. Now we're going to charge people more money, or people are going to start panic buying. When did that become something in the United States? Panic buying. Because it just happened a couple of weeks ago with all the gasoline and stuff. Because, the pipeline oil got hacked? No. Why are we not using more iguana meat? You know, a lot of people are all acting like, oh, I'm too good. I can only eat beef. I can only eat chicken or fish, dairy, eggs. Come on, people. You guys have all become too soft. We all have become soft as humans. You know, I was talking about this. Like, if everything all just went to shit in the world and we all had to take care of ourselves, you know, all the poor people, and I don't want you to think I'm talking anarchy. No, we got to have laws. We're a country of laws. But what I'm trying to say is if it all went down, and I don't want you to think I wanted to go down, but the poor, the bums, you know, the bums that have been living out on the street, they are going to be the superior class in the human race. All the rich people are going to be screwed. They've been living pampered lives their entire lives. Do you think that they would actually know how to live off the land, Mother Nature, getting what you need? No, they definitely wouldn't be able to. So, you know, we've become so picky. You know what? I would eat the fuck out of some iguana. I think maybe one of the meats that I've eaten, and I know that it's dangerous, but I ate an armadillo meat one time. And I don't even remember. I was a young kid. But a lot of people don't realize that armadillos are the only species. They actually carry leprosy, people. Yes, leprosy. You know that disease where your body parts fall off and stuff? Yeah. But I don't even know. I mean, maybe cooking it really, really well will kill any of the stuff that causes leprosy. But yeah, that's one of the weirdest things that I've ever eaten is armadillo. And you got to do what you got to do. You know, if the beef prices are going up, let's call an audible, pivot, and start eating the fuck out of some iguanas. Who knows?
And all the things that you can do with the iguana and all the different flavors you can develop, I think it's a pretty good item in our menu.
Iguanas, for one thing, it's very well known, it's very well documented that iguanas are a very good source of protein.
Very lean, it's very high in protein, but it's a very low fat meat. Iguana can be prepared fried.
Yep, there you go. There you go. In true American fashion, the way that the guy just described the meat, lean, good source of protein, low in fat. Yeah, and you know the first thing we do? The first thing that this guy mentions on how you can prepare an iguana is to fry it. In true American fashion, that's why we're all dying because of the coronavirus, because we're all fat fucks living here in the United States, because the first thing we do with a very, very healthy meat, which is iguana, we're going to just throw it deep fat fry it. We deep fat fry butter. Right there. That's all you need to know.
Stew, we can do iguana popcorn, grill it, roast it. It's all about the imagination of whoever is doing it. This iguana meat we're going to eat today, it comes from Canóvanas, Puerto Rico. It has all the FDA licenses and all the permits it needs to be exporting this item.
If I didn't know the iguana, I probably wouldn't have been so skittish. But I'm trying it, and I actually really like it. And for me, it had more of a consistency of pork.
All right, never mind. Never mind. Iguana's never going to become popular because you want to know why? Big pork. Big pork will get lobbyists. Lobbyists will go to Washington. They will line the pockets of all the politicians. And guess what? The iguana meat sales, they're going to go into the tank here in the United States because big pork. Because, I mean, you just heard what that woman said. It reminded her of pork. Pork does not want any competition at all because I think iguana would come in and take over the whole market when it comes to the other white meat. So, the next story that I'm going to talk about, listen, I've never been one of those people, like, I actually learned about sex education. I don't think it was until 5th or 6th grade, but it almost seems like they are starting out earlier and earlier, which I think is a good thing. I really do. You know, the people that have problems with teaching kids about sex education, now, I do agree that there is an age that they just can't comprehend what's going on with their bodies, sex stuff. No, they're not going to be able to get that, but the earlier the better. Because the last thing we need is more teenage pregnancies, not knowing what it's about, or just being confused about sex. I think teaching people, kids about sex education at a younger age will also help them understand and protect themselves from child predators. You know, a lot of kids don't even talk about it because they don't know what's going on. They just know that it makes them feel weird. They don't know if they should tell their parents or whatever. But I don't even know where this is. Dalton parents enraged over masturbation videos for first graders. Now, is first graders too young? I don't know. You know, like, I see kids nowadays, younger and younger, using tablets, smartphones, whatever it may be, and that's a good thing. It is a good thing because you're going to need that stuff in the future. Now, could it be a bad thing? Yes, like with anything, too much of something can be a bad thing. But last fall, parents at the posh $55,000 per year Dalton school got wind of their first graders being taught sex education lessons that included masturbation. Okay. What does that hurt, though? What does it really, really hurt to be able to teach kids about masturbation? Because it helps them understand their bodies more. And let's be honest, I wish that I would have had something like the internet when I was in my teenage years. I mean, we did have the internet towards the end, like 96, 97, 98. I graduated in 98. But, I mean, it took forever. It was all dial-up, AOL. So, yeah, you couldn't really find out a lot of information at a very high speed. But, man, do you realize how less confusing our childhoods would have been for the Gen Xers if we would have had the internet, we would have had Google? Now, I'm not denying that there isn't a lot of misinformation about stuff online, but you could do your own research. But $55,000 per year, these are a bunch of Karens. I guarantee you this is a bunch of Karens bitching about it. They don't have to work because their husbands are out, making millions, 6 figures a month, banging their secretaries. And the wives know about it, but they go on with it. And this is how they complain. They can't complain to the husband because the husband will tell them to pound sand and start kicking rocks. No, but they take it out on the school. They complain to school administrators, but we're told they had simply misinterpreted what Dalton's now notorious health and wellness educator Justine Angfonte, who last month led a controversial and explicit porn literacy workshop at another elite prep school, was teaching. Now, the thing that they're upset about is this video. Now, guys, you know that I've done a lot of messed up things on the radio. I do not get embarrassed, but for some reason, this video actually makes me a little uncomfortable. Because I don't know if they actually had actual kids' voices, because they do have voiceover people that can do kid voices. And I'm just, maybe that's what's kind of weirding me out, but this video is just a little creepy. I don't have a problem with it, but I think they could have gone about it in another way.
Pass it, Squeaks! Whoa! Watch it!
And if I'm just being honest, no shock jocking. I know I say that every single day. I got to get rid of that word out of my vocabulary. But what I'm saying is that Squeaks looks like the one that you need to check his hard drive. Squeaks has already been jacking it since the beginning of kindergarten. And look, I'm not trying to be creepy or whatever. I'm not trying to sexualize kids at all. But come on, man. We all at an early age, we would grab our private parts. I mean, it's there. Like, of course. It's like hitting a button there and it says, do not push. Guys, women, girls, when they were young, they all looked down and it's like, oh, okay, all right. What's that between my legs? Oh, that's a... Well, they don't even know what it really is. They just know it's a hole that they pee out of. And then, guys, I mean, we got balls and a penis. Our stuff's on the outside. Of course, we're going to play with it more than what the women do.
You almost hit me in the pee-pee! What's so funny, you two?
He said pee-pee.
Do you notice that when you say pee-pee, you giggle, but when you say penis, you say it in a serious voice?
I never noticed that before.
I mean, you know what creeps me out about it? It's the delivery. It is a delivery. They could have gotten a better voiceover person to do some of these kid voices because it's just too monotone. There is no actual feeling in the read itself. I mean, I do agree, like, people do get a little bit more serious with the word penis. But why does everybody get a lisp when you say the word penis? Like, there's not 2 S's at the end of penis. No, there isn't. It's just penis. But some people like to say penis. Like they're a goddamn snake.
Some children and adults feel uncomfortable when they talk about their private parts, so they make up cute or funny names for them.
Man, I don't know. Like, we used to play this game as a kid. Like, how many different names are there for penis? I mean, you got dick, cock, slong, willy, Johnson. I mean, then you got vagina. And this is the other problem that I have with this audio. You know what? I'm not even gonna get into the vagina because it's not like I've not been in a vagina in a while. But what I'm trying to say is I hate the word that they use for it. The word that they use, you know what? I'm just going to get right into it so we can get it, dig deep into this word that they use for it. It's a vagina. I know it's the other word that they're going to use, but everybody calls it a vagina.
What's one for a girl's private parts?
Vajayjay!
See, it's the laughing that's creepy. I just pinpointed what it is. It is the laughing of the kids. The kids, they sound like the kids from Children of the Corn. But you could tell that they were trying to be hip and cool by using the word vajayjay. Come the fuck on. This is why the rest of the world hates us, people. We're naming vagina vajayjay. I know that it's an older word, but that's the best that they could do to try to hip this up for the first graders. Do you really think that the first graders even have heard what the word fucking vajayjay is? No, they've not heard vajayjay. Maybe I could be wrong. I'm not even a parent. This is all shit that I shouldn't even be talking about.
But what does Scoops mean when he says vajayjay?
He means vulva.
That's the word. That is the word that I was having an issue with. Yes, technically, the scientific name for a female's private parts is vulva. But we don't use the word vulva. Vagina. Vagina, vagina, vagina. Nobody says, hey, baby, let me get in that vulva. No, vulva is a big goddamn, like, sexual killer. You're not going to say vulva. Vulva, it's just like the German language. The German language always sounds like angry. That's why everybody thought that Hitler was a bad guy. But, I mean, everybody thought he was angry all the time. No, the German language is just angry. And vulva sounds kind of like a German word. Maybe I'm thinking of Volvo. But no, we don't call it vulva. It's vagina.
That's right, Kayla. It's important to use the proper words for our private parts.
Why?
Because our private parts are just as amazing as our hearts, lungs, brains, or any other of our amazing body parts.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Actually, if you want to think about it, the private parts are the things that cause us the most problems in our lives. Because that's all we think about. That's all we think about is fucking, having sex, making love, whatever you want to call it, reproducing. It gets us in trouble, especially guys. It gets us in trouble. Girls as well, too. It causes us a heartache. You know, some people all think that the sex is so good that they're like, all right, cool, yeah. You're not in love with that person. I've been guilty of it. When I was younger, oh my God, I met this one girl, and it was not love, but I thought it was. I thought it was love, but no, it wasn't. It was because the sex was so good, and I got my heart broken. Man, oh man, that was a bad one. It is. So yes, our vaginas, our penises, is a gift and a curse. Feels good, but it gives us so much heartache.
But our hearts pump blood, our lungs breathe, and our brains think. All our private parts do is pee.
That's not entirely true, Scoops. It is true that a person pees or urinates through a hole called the urethra in the penis.
Does everyone have a urethra?
They do. It can be harder to see, but girls have a tiny hole in the front of the vulva where urine comes out from their urethra. Urination is actually very important. It helps us get rid of waste, stuff our body doesn't need.
Well, I mean, while we're talking about urination, I mean, back to the penis and vaginas, you know, some people are into that. Some people are on it when it comes to the urination stuff. They like to be pissed on. They like just drinking it or whatever. They sexualize it. You know, I mean, I can see why pee might be, like, interesting to some people, but I've never understood the poop porn stuff. Like, that 2 girls, 1 cup. I mean, somebody showed that to me one time, and to make myself feel better after watching that video, I watched it because they wanted to play a joke on me, and it was when I was in my, like, mid-20s, maybe early 20s. And I just told myself, that's fake. It's fake. The poop was too fluffy. I mean, if this is real poop, those women had excellent digestive systems because that poop was fantastic. It wasn't, like, dark. It wasn't greasy, wasn't oily. It didn't even look like it smelled. Like, it almost looked like they were on an all-vegetarian diet, if you're asking me.
Hey, how come my penis gets big sometimes and points up in the air?
That's called an erection.
Oh, boy. I am so creeped out by these kids' voices. And almost, like, do you think that pedophiles would get turned on by a video like this? Even though it is animated, but it is kids talking about sexual stuff. You know, like, I look into things too much. I know that I shouldn't be creeped out about this because we were all kids at one point. But come on, the last thing that people, it just makes me uncomfortable. I shouldn't even have to explain myself. I really, really shouldn't. That's how bad it is to be accused of being a pedophile. You get uncomfortable listening to a educational video that was done for a bunch of first graders. That's how bad it is.
Sometimes I touch my penis because it feels good.
Sometimes when I'm in my bath or when Mom puts me to bed, I like to touch my vulva too.
You have a clitoris there, Kayla, that probably feels good to touch the same way Keith's penis feels good when he touches it. But have you ever noticed that older kids and grown-ups don't touch their private parts in public?
I don't know about you, man. I've been waiting here in the parking garage for my mom to get out of her appointment, and I had to use the bathroom. I had to piss real bad. When I was walking down, I saw a bum getting after it right there on Orange Avenue, and he just did not care. Like, he had both hands down. It looked like the left hand was cupping the balls and the right hand was getting after it on the shaft. Nobody ever paid him any attention. So let's not act like adults don't touch yourself in public. Because I'm guilty of it as well, too. I don't do it inside the pants, but I'll readjust on the outside. I don't care. Hey, if women want to judge me, guess what? Your stuff is inside, my stuff is outside. Deal with it.
They don't?
That's right, Keith. It's okay to touch yourself and see how different body parts feel, but it's best to only do it in private.
Well, if private parts are so special, why do you cover them up?
Because they are private, silly.
Ugh, I feel dirty after listening to that, and I know that I shouldn't, but I don't understand why the parents at this rich, posh, bougie private school, they're having to pay $55,000 a year. Yeah, no, you know what? You guys just need to suck it up. I don't even think that we get educational videos that are that highly produced in public schools. So yeah, feel lucky. I can only imagine what a public school, especially like in Volusia County where I grew up, would even look like. I'm sure that they're still using videos from the mid-'80s to teach kids about sexuality. Gonna take a quick break. Be back in a few minutes. You are listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
Orlando Weekly, Best of Orlando. Write the Tuddle Daily Podcast in the category for Best Podcast Not on the Radio. Visit Tuddle.net, where you'll find a direct link, so you can't complain that it's too complicated. And if you don't live in Orlando, no problem. If you're a supporter of the show from anywhere around the world, you can vote too.
Wish you could have just flown and had your vehicle arrive a day or two later so you can enjoy more time doing what's important to you? Well, you can. Just give Starfire Transport a call. Let the professionals do the driving while you're flying. Starfire Transport specializes in RV and auto transport. They'll also haul watercraft from boats to PWCs, cargo trailers, and more. Service available throughout the continental United States. So don't wait. Call Brian today at 574-349-4193 or 989-751-6106 for your next move. 10% off for veterans past or present. Also, make sure to tell them Tuddle sent you for an additional discount. That's Starfire Transport. Want to support the show? Go to paypal.me/Tuddle on the radio.
Welcome back to the Tuddle Daily Podcast, last segment of the day. I wanted to run something by you because my dad did not want to be buried. He didn't want a service. He just wants a party. He wants a party for everybody to be able to come to and just have a good time, tell stories, and just celebrate life. But I was wondering what I wanted to do with Dad's ashes. Now, I'm not going to get rid of all. I don't even know. Maybe I shouldn't even just hold on to any of them. I got to actually go by the crematorium today to pay them. That sucks. That's something you'd never look forward to in your life. Having to go pay somebody to burn your dad's body. Man, life sucks sometimes. But I was thinking of what I wanted to do. I talked about this right after my pops died. I was like, what would be the best way to honor him? And I told you guys one of the things that we had a connection on, even when I was working with Bubba during college football season, I would drive from from Tampa to Volusia County, which is almost 100 miles on one of the worst roads in the United States of America, which is I-4. But I would drive that every single weekend during college football season to watch the University of Florida Gators play. Week in and week out, I always did it. One of the greatest memories. Florida versus FSU. Florida wins their first national championship in the Sugar Bowl against the Seminoles and not only beat them, embarrassed them 52-20. Then I watched the national championship game in 2006 against Ohio State. And then the latest one back in 2008. God, it doesn't seem like that long ago. But they won it against Oklahoma. There's another event. I know everybody already knows this. And if you don't, then you really did forget. But this September is going to be the 20th anniversary of September 11th. That shit seems like it was just yesterday. I'm sorry. It does. It makes me feel old as shit. But back to what I was saying. I was like, after Pops died, I was like, man, I'm never going to be able to watch another Florida Gator football game because it's going to remind me of him. It's going to bring up the memories. And I'm not saying they're bad memories. They're great memories, but it just is going to make me miss him. So I was like, and then it popped in my head. I was like, all right, I can kill two birds with one stone here. I can honor my Pops and still watch the Gator games. I want to lay my dad's ashes at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, Steve Spurrier Field at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. And I talked to Dr. Paul Mattson, who was the assistant coach on the baseball team that my dad coached. Yes, we did win the championship that year. We went the top team. We had a lot of great memories. So I called Doc, and Doc actually graduated from the University of Florida. He was like, you can just, they'll let you put the ashes on the field. And I was like, no, Paul, Dr. Mattson, that's not what I want to do. It's more honorable and bigger way to honor my dad to do it during a live game. How badass would that be? I could actually wear a shirt. Maybe it's got Wayne's picture on it. I don't know. Maybe it's stupid. I would like to hear from you. 407-270-3044 because I want to go to one of the University of Florida home games. I want to sit in the stands. I want to just rush the field. Now, I'm not going to do it nude. I'm not going to streak. That would be kind of weird. I think I would definitely get Baker acted if I was spreading my dad's ashes all over Ben Hill Griffin Stadium Field while I was nude. No, I'm not going to be streaking. And I'm in pretty good shape right now. I think that I could at least get somewhere near the... My goal is to get it to the 50. But if I can't get it to the 50 and they tackle me, it's going everywhere. Dad's going to be all over those guys. He's going to be all over the field. But they also might think I'm some like terrorist trying to spread anthrax or something in Gainesville. No, that's not the case. This is all innocent. I just wanted to be on TV. And at the same time, I might be able to get a little publicity for this podcast. Might be able to help out my YouTube channel. And I don't think Dad would mind that. But Dad also, one of his favorite dogs was our Basset Hound Lewis. And that kind of goes back to Dr. Paul Mattson. Dr. Paul Mattson was the one that actually put Lewis to sleep because he was in a lot of pain. And we had the cremation done. And my dad kept the ashes. And he always said, if you're going to spread my ashes anywhere, I want Lewis with me. So we still have Lewis the Basset Hound's ashes. And I got Dad's ashes. So I'm going to spread ashes of Gerald Wayne Fowler and Lewis the Basset Hound at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. But I would like to, is it cheesy? Is it corny? I want to do it during a live game. screw that, allowing me to get there when nobody's there. I don't know. I think it would be cool. I think it would just be a great way to honor Dad. All right, guys. Just waiting for my mom to get out of her appointment. I'll keep you updated. Thanks for listening to today's show. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you guys are safe, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
And that's the show for today. Thanks for listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hey, don't be a dickhead. Do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe to the show. Also, check out the Tuddle category at 315live.com. The Tuddle Daily Podcast is brought to you by Starfire Transport, StitchYouUp.com, and PocketPairClub.com. Special thanks to show producer Vulture and co-host Sirach. Show voiceover service is brought to you by JCVoiceover.com and The Little Cheese Show. Download and subscribe to The Little Cheese Show everywhere podcasts are found. If you want to help support the show, go to paypal.me/TuddleOnTheRadio. You have something you want to say? Tuddle@gmail.com or leave a voicemail at 407-270-3044. To follow all Tuddle social media, go to Tuddle.net. That's Tuddle with 2Ds.net. Thanks again for all your support, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
A society grows great when old men plant trees, the shade of which they know they will never sit in. Good people do things for other people. That's it, the end.